Hello everybody and welcome back to the Siege Mailbox. This is a video series where you the viewer comment your Siege related questions and topic discussions, and as a chance it'll appear in the next video. Now I don't like long intros, so all I say is hit the like button if you enjoy, sub if you haven't already, comment your questions, and let's get into this. Okay, so this first one's from Tackleberry, and they say, IQ should get a rework where her gadget is a helmet like Jackal's, so you never have to pull out your pistol. So I'm going to address this one in a second, but I do want to say this is quite a funny one considering from a narrative standpoint, this technically almost happened, as in the lore, Solis's gadget, which works in a similar way to this, did start out as an upgrade for IQ. Mira was developing it, IQ left Rainbow to join Nighthaven, so then she just stopped working on it. Solis then came into the team, her and Flores would request the prototype from Mira, they would finish developing it themselves, and then we have the version of Solis, which we now know. So from a gameplay standpoint of IQ sort of acting like Solis, but being able to keep her guns up, that would of course be very good. But for the same reason why Solis can't use guns while she has her gadget active, you wouldn't really be able to do that with IQ either. Not because it wouldn't make sense, because it would make sense, it would just be too strong. Because theoretically, if you had this as a helmet, IQ could just rush sight, seeing all the cap cans she needs to see, all of the Melusi Banshees, all of the Valkyrie cameras, all the yokais. A big reason why she is limited to the pistol when she uses her gadget is because her gadget is very useful. With there constantly being more and more electronics on defense, IQ being able to spot all of them is a very useful thing. If she was able to do that hands-free with a weapon up, it would be a bit too powerful, especially in a rushing aspect. And I'm gonna call a spade here as well. I think IQ in her current state is fine. I think a lot of people are just a bit lazy and don't want to take the time to bring in IQ, ping the gadget, synergize it with a Brava, Twitch, etc. IQ is intel, and she brings a form of intel which no one else on the attacking team can actually do. So I honestly don't think IQ needs a rework, and you're not the only one who says this. A lot of people say that IQ needs a rework. I don't think she does. I think she's fine. She's not flashy. I think that's fair enough. Like, she isn't the most flashiest operator, but she's very useful, and when you have her on the team, you can counter so many operators. But by all means, I agree that is a really cool idea, but I don't really think IQ needs a rework. One thing I think they could maybe do would be to add a scope to her pistol, like a reflex or something like that, just to make the pistol a little bit more viable if you do end up in a gunfight with your gadget out. It'd be nothing crazy, but I think that'd be a nice little quality of life update for IQ. This next one is by Lieutenant Goose, and they say, I think a rework on how we transfer the diffuser to our team is needed. Like, instead of dropping it where we stand, how about we can throw the case towards our team? The box itself can also bounce off walls, almost so you can curve it around corners. What do you think? Okay, so this is the creativity I like in this series. I actually really like this idea. You always see people saying that they should change how the diffuser works. A popular one that people were saying was that like every attacker should have a diffuser, but only one of them has an activation key, and it's like the key you pass between characters, but anyone can plant at the given time. That just removes all the risk of planting or dying with the diffuser, you know, because if you have the diffuser, it makes you be more valuable. It makes you more punished for making mistakes, such as, you know, dying with diffuser or solo roaming. Defenders then have control of it. But I really like this idea because it's still keeping the core gameplay and the core way of how the diffuser works when it comes to operator importance and one person having it, but you're expanding on it in a way that you would deem realistic if these operators were trying to get a plant down. Like, imagine there's 10 seconds left on the clock, it's a 3v1, but the diffuser is out of sight with a different operator. That operator then throws the diffuser up the hatch to someone who's in sight, and then they go for a plant. That would be really cool. I think that's fair, and I think that would be just a really great quality of life update. The main thing I was thinking of was, would there be enough inputs for this? But I imagine if you hold the key to drop the diffuser, for example, or you like double click it or something like that, it then puts it in your hand, sort of like a secondary gadget, and you can then throw it. A big issue, which I imagine the development team would have with this though, is that it would be on grounds for griefing, or you'd have ways where people would be able to throw the diffuser, you know, out of bounds, and it would just mess up that entire team and stuff like that. And then you'd have to say, well, if someone throws it off the side of the map, maybe you'd have to have like a a respawn or just an invisible barrier where it doesn't allow it to be thrown out of bounds. Like, definitely there would be workarounds, but it would cause a lot of issues like that, and maybe there'd be some that slip through the net. But 100% from like a concept perspective, I think this is an incredibly good idea. I think this fits the game entirely. It doesn't take it too far out the realm of what we already got. You're just upgrading an already existing philosophy and gameplay system. But yeah, being able to throw the diffuser to your teammate is a very good idea, and I absolutely love this one. Okay, so in the previous Mailbox video, we took a look at this image, which was an officially posted promotional image for Siege X, where it shows that Clash looks a bit different. Now, we don't know if this is a potential remaster or maybe just an update, but someone commented something quite interesting about this, saying, if this were to be a rework, what if the square in the middle of her shield allows you to place utility on it? Meaning that you could place one of Jaeger's ADSs on it, for example, and then Clash could walk around with her shield up, providing a portable ADS for someone. Or maybe you could stick one of Maestro's evil eyes on it, and then you could have a portable evil eye, with Clash moving the shield around and the evil eye being attached to that little square bit. I guess you could even use this with a bulletproof camera as well. And if we take my concept for Clash's rework, which would be that she can place the shield and then walk away from it with a gun as her primary, and the shield just stays there, that then would also add to this capability of being able to move these gadgets. You know, Maestro places an evil eye on the shield, Clash walks up to a hallway, she then leaves her shield, the shield and the evil eye are both there, she can go and pick them up again and walk away. That would be really cool. You're really cooking with this one. I love this. But this would open the door to so much, and I would love to see something like this come to the game. Let me know if you think of any more really cool synergies you could do with this. This next one is by Manhuvi, and he says, dual front mode is bad and it's shown in your section for it. You're asking them to modify the game for this mode. It should have been a new game. Well, I'm just going to come straight out of the gates and say that this is an absolutely ludicrous comment, and I'll explain why. So in regards to the whole dual front is bad, whatever, that's your opinion. I can't change it. I think we should give it a bit more of a chance. It's only been in a beta for it was like a week-long beta, so most people haven't tried it. Of course, they're going to change much before it releases as well, and it will continue to get updates. So I think writing stuff off this early is a bit silly. I enjoyed it, and I think saying that it's bad before it's even released is just very premature. But I'm very surprised that you said that it should be a new game, because one of the things that Ubisoft got criticized most for with Rainbow Six Extraction was the fact that it was a new game. Everyone kept telling them, oh, this should have been a mode in Siege, blah, 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 which in retrospect is something that I always push for. As, you know, I've started to understand how development works for video games, etc. Rainbow Six Extraction actually being a standalone title makes a lot of sense. But it was one of the biggest critiques of the game, and now we have people saying that Dual Front, which is a free new mode coming to Rainbow Six Siege, should have been a separate game. Which I understand you're probably in the minority here, because I think all of us can agree that it shouldn't have been a new game. This works perfectly fine as a new secondary mode for Rainbow Six Siege. It isn't there to replace the core gameplay. It isn't there to take away anything from it. It is just more Siege for us to play. We can now mix attackers and defenders. It's a new mode, and I think it's a pretty fun mode. Again, don't write it off so soon. It's not even out yet. But yeah, I was genuinely taken aback when I saw that saying that it should have been a new game. That's very surprised me that there's people who think that, because that was one of the biggest complaints of Extraction. So yeah, no, the Dual Front is good that it's a new mode, and yeah, give it a chance. This next one asked the question, with Siege going free to play with Siege X, if we're going to get more skins and probably an expansion of the art team because of this. Well, boring answer would be I don't know, but that's not why you watch these videos. I would like to think so in a good way, because Rainbow Six Siege, I would say, has never had oppressive microtransactions. You can have your complaints about some of them, like I have my complaints with the membership, but at the end of the day, it's just cosmetics. They've never forced you to pay for a new operator. You can unlock them for free. They've never charged for new maps. They've never charged for new guns, etc. Siege has actually always been quite consumer friendly ever since it came out back in 2015, which wasn't actually the industry standard back then. I said this in a video the other day, but when Rainbow Six Siege was going into its 4th year of free content, Call of Duty were still doing their paid DLC throughout the year. That's how early Ubisoft got into the trend of doing free DLC with Siege and keeping the updates and the paid microtransactions only just for cosmetics. Well, now that we're going into Siege being in this free-to-play state, of course, as with every free-to-play game, the money and revenue is then relying on microtransactions. So it would be in Ubisoft's best interest to start pumping out more paid skins for Rainbow Six Siege. Again, I don't have an issue with this as long as it remains as skins. You don't need to buy cosmetics. Some cosmetics actually put you at a disadvantage, and it's purely for fun. If it doesn't affect the gameplay like that, go ham, Ubisoft. Make as many skins as you want. I like skins. I like when skins are good and have quality put into them. So by all means, I would love to see more skins come to the game. But with the question being, will it? I genuinely don't know. We've never seen a version of Rainbow Six Siege in a free-to-play state, so we are going to be seeing it for the first time, how it operates as a free-to-play game, and it will probably be for the best for us all. I mean, Ubisoft will probably make more money. We'll probably get more skins as a consumer, which I think a lot of us is fine with and want to see more of. So I imagine, based on just how the gaming industry is, that we will, but who knows, honestly. They might operate it a bit differently. This next one is by AK Aiden20, and they ask, since we had the chance to vote for a new skin for Ash as part of the Siege X pack, I think it's about time we had the chance to vote again, but this time for a new weapon. From SMGs such as the PP19, as seen in COD and X Defiant, the MDR assault rifle / battle rifle seen in X Defiant, new weapons are so needed, and I would love to see weapons like the PP19 and MDR in future seasons. Now, first thing I want to say is every brand new operator which gets added to this game does have a brand new weapon. That's why Aurora had the Reaper, that's why Deimos has the Vendetta, that's why Scopus has the PCX 33, is that what it's called? All of the brand new operators have brand new weapons. Now, I would love for them to put it to a vote about what weapon we would like added to the game. I always love community interaction like that, and I think that'd be a really good thing. Don't quote me on this. I don't know if they'd be allowed to, because there's a lot of licensing stuff when it comes to guns, so they may have to like have the license first before they can even say, oh, what gun should we add to the game? And at this point, I guess they'd kind of just be showing all their cards at once then, because if they could even mention those guns, it means they have the license to add them. So I guess all of them would actually be coming at some point anyway, so then they'd technically just be revealing a bunch of guns too early. I might be wrong there though. I don't know. That is just, you know, my base level assumption of how, when it comes to licensing weapons in video games, that they may not just have that instant free will of posting it on social media saying, hey, who wants who wants this gun? But if I'm wrong and there isn't like a legal licensing barrier there, then yeah, by all means, I would love to see that. I think it'd be great. That being said though, I think if the community had a vote, they'd probably all just pick for like what would be like the most overpowered weapon. And I kind of like that Ubisoft are experimenting with brand new weapons right now. Like Deimos has a unique pistol. Aurora has a unique pistol. As much as I don't like it, I think that gun is like just not good at all. But yeah, it would be really cool if we could vote what new weapons we want, and you know, by all means, say what new weapons you want. Ubisoft watch content, they look at what the community says, so although they may not officially do a poll, if you say that we really want this weapon and a bunch of the community says that, they'll most likely try and do their best to implement that weapon to the game. So just make sure you always speak your mind and give your recommendations. Right, this next one is by PlayStation is Amazing, and they ask, do you think Thermite will get a shield? Wow, it's been like a year since we started talking about this one as well. If you guys don't know the lore here, back when Year 9 was revealed, and like the first season of Year 9 was Deadly Omen, and that's when you had the shield rework, and then also had Deimos and stuff like that as well. And Joshua Mills done a little hint at the reveal, saying that, oh, well, you can detonate breaching charges behind your shield from safety now with this new rework. And it was like, and maybe one day exothermic charges. So of course we interpreted that as the fact that, well, okay, Thermite is actually going to get a deployable shield at some point, the bog standard one which Fuse has. And I genuinely believe that this probably was planned to be a thing. However, then the shield rework came out and it was very strong and it got quite oppressive. And of course, you have to remember as well, at this time, they had Blackbeard's rework lined up for 3 seasons away. We didn't know his rework was going to be a shield. They did. So maybe seeing all these shield operators being as strong as they were, and them also knowing that Blackbeard was releasing in a few seasons, maybe they thought, okay, maybe we shouldn't add another shield to the team right now. I'd even bet money that Striker had a shield in an early version of the Recruit Remaster. Like, I think that was probably likely that Striker had a shield and Thermite had a shield, and it was just because there was that many shields and they were that oppressive that they decided not to go forward with it. Now, I think shields are in a much better spot right now, but again, will they give Thermite a ballistic shield at this point? It might be on the back burner. It might not happen, but I still think it'd be cool to see it. I mean, I'm like the only one who's ever talked about it, so I guess we'll keep the dream alive for you Thermite shield mains wannabes. I do think if Thermite shield ever does release though, I'll just be there like, we've made it, boys. I've talked about this for a year now and it's finally here. This next one asks, how much do you think the Rainbow Six mobile comics affect the lore? Currently there are 2 out. I'm going to be brutally honest here. I know Rainbow Six Mobile has comics. I reached out to the mobile social team and they said that the comics are canon, but I don't know how far that actually goes, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know how much collaboration they actually have with Siege's narrative team. For what it seems, it does seem like the comic stories are just little missions anyway, which aren't really effective of big lore, so I guess it's fine for them to be canon. I've glanced at them. The reason why I've not made any video of them is that I've not had a chance to get them all in full or have a good video to make on them because I don't have access to mobile. It's not available in the UK. Even when I try and access it through other methods, I can't get the comics to work or I can't get them in full. As far as I'm aware, currently they've not posted them like online or anything like that. So the moment I do get the R6 mobile comics, I will make a video on them. And I've said this, I have like tried to reach out and be like, hey, can I get the comics? But it's fallen on deaf ears. But I don't think they're gonna be like massive parts of lore. I think it's just gonna be fun little stories or like little missions between operators, which is honestly something I quite like, because I think that helps just expand the team even more and add a bit more groundness to them and say, well, look, these operators do go on missions, even though you may not see it very often, because, obviously they have a main story to tell. They can't just say, oh, today, Thermite and Buck went on this mission and done this. Like, they have a limited place to tell story in Siege, so they're going to tell the main story that they're writing. Whereas mobile, it would be nice just to see these little missions and operations these operators go on. And yeah, so once I get more access to them, I promise I will make videos on them. I'm not ignoring them. It's just a weird state right now, especially with mobile still not technically released everywhere. So don't worry. I know they exist. I'm pretty sure they're canon. Well, they said they're canon, but stay tuned. I will have something to do with them. I promise. And so everybody, that is going to do it for this episode of the Siege Mailbox. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. Just catch you later. I love you all. Stay safe. Have a good one.